Good morning. Lots going on again here today. We got field cultivator out in front of the shop. Xander's doing some maintenance, replacing some parts and things that are worn out. We'll go through it now as much as we can so that we don't have as much to do in the spring. Dad has finished spraying the corn. We're getting set up to do wheat. Got that bolt in that we had kind of got partially in yesterday. It held, but we got here and had a big hammer, so we pounded that down and got the nut on it. I know it's not down all the way. It's not super tight, but it doesn't need to be. We're wondering if leaving it a little loose will prevent it from breaking. I've been working down at my house here on the pool project, trying to get a gas line buried in. It's going to go into the utility and then over to the heater for the pool. So trying to get that to the point where we can heat our pool. So just wrapping it up, got to backfill my trench here and we're good. All right, well, the pool is warming up. Got the heater running. So Xander's been working on our field cultivator. We got a few sweeps he changed, but put some of these new shank protectors on. There was some that were worn out, in bad shape, and now we're going through putting a new row of spikes on the front here. Some of those were getting pretty worn. Some of them aren't terrible. And we're going to fix some chains. There's some chains that are wearing through. We need to go through and check all the wheel bearings, make sure that they're not too loose, and tighten them up if need to. That one there, that spike's about wore out. Like, I don't have a new one here to compare it to, but there's a used one that's not about wore out. So, yeah, I'm going to change a few of those. I got to get a few more new ones, it sounds like. Okay, should do some farm associated work today, so let's get an anhydrous applicator hooked up. We got to drop the planter, and then we've got to put the take the quick hitch off the tractor before we can grab the anhydrous bar. Oh yeah, we lost our pin on this other side when we were no-tilling those beans. I'd stuck a bolt through there, but we probably better not trust that bolt. I don't know that I got a new pin ordered yet. I should have done that, but I didn't. So I think we'll steal one off the bean planter and I'll order one so that by the time we're ready to unhook the bean planter, we've got it here. These are the clips that were in there. Like, they have this tab that comes around it shouldn't get ripped out of there. I don't know how it did, but we lost both of them that day we were no-tilling soybeans. So I mean, I can't just pull that out. I gotta use two hands and pull this side and then up. All right, we got this lowered down, got the weight off of it. I shut the tractor off to unhook all the hoses and wires and stuff just because it makes me feel better. Don't know if it matters. We'll get that, and then this part here has to come off the tractor. We hook the anhydrous applicator pins directly to the draft links, to these arms here. Take this pin out. Got those pins out far enough. Just take the whole top link out. So I disconnected that there. We should be able to back up. Let's see if we can drop this thing. Okay, well, just dropped a wrench. That's not so bad. Those pins have to be lined up perfect to go through there. There's no slop, and then we try and take all the side-to-side play out of it as well. Okay, we got that. I may play with our sway blocks a little bit on the tractor to try and take a little bit of the side-to-side play out of it. Phil and Xander are going to go get me some tanks, or a tank, to get started here. And I think we're good to go. I got a few spare parts and tools. Took some stuff that was specific for the planter out. Got some stuff for the anhydrous applicator and put it in. We've got my full face respirator, pair of gloves. We're going to go stick those in the tractor. Just trying to make sure we got everything ready. They should be back with our tank pretty soon. Our tank's here. Let's go hook everything up. All right, we're getting hooked up here. I'm going to slowly open this valve. We're going to watch and listen for any leaks. We had a lot of stuff apart this winter, and I don't want to just trust everything until you pressure test it. So, looks okay, sounds okay. We'll double check everything once we get it all opened up here. Okay, we have a bit of a good news, bad news situation. Good news is none of our fittings are really leaking. We tightened up a union and that seemed to solve that. Bad news is we do have a leak, but it appears to be coming out of our vapor tubes. And I think it's our control valve. I think the master control valve is leaking. Here's why I say that. I don't know if I can show you real good or not from here. Maybe once we unfold. That tire is flat. It's got a hole in it apparently because we pumped it up when it was in the shop, but now it's flat. We'll go pump it up again. We should put some of our tire jack in there, fix it, or actually fix it. You could do that. Looks like we put a new stem on there and thought we fixed it. Didn't. All right, let's try this again. So I got to get in that tire. See how our valves over there are frosting up? Right there, that white, that's all frost. And I can smell the ammonia in the air. Now, I have not put the bar in the ground. We have not opened up the control valve system. And in order for gas to get to that spot, it comes through our hose to the splitter here, splits, goes through the coolers, out the bottom, through the flow meters, up, pressure gauge, temperature gauge, through a valve, through another valve, and then all of a sudden it's icing. These valves haven't been opened, which means either they're not closing all the way and out of adjustment or the seals are bad. Normally that's not a problem, and then when there's ammonia on this side, it comes through these tubes, goes in through this orifice, through the center, out, and then out through these vapor tubes. That's where we're smelling it from. It's coming through those vapor tubes because it's getting ammonia to that, and it shouldn't be there because the valves haven't been opened. When the bar's in the ground, you open the valves and it puts that vapor down into the soil. It's how it's supposed to work. So the fact that that is icing up and that we're getting gas to those vapor tubes at all when we have not even opened it means that those seals or something is bad there and we need to fix that. But it also means that it'll work just fine if we can just get to the field. And if I was to close the two handles on that cooler, those vapor lines, there's two lines that close those off. That will totally stop that leak. So is it good? No. Is it the end of the world? Nope. Also no. So we're gonna run this tank out and see what we got. All right. We've got pressure on our gauges. Openers are in the ground. I see very little, if any, leaking. Everything looks to be working right. It's finding the rate. Gonna take it a second. Okay, dialed that in. Gonna kick our speed up a little bit. We can pull this pretty fast, which is nice. We can cover some ground and we can get into small corn. We'll talk a lot more about what we're doing and stuff. Probably not today, but here maybe tomorrow or whatever. Yeah. Oh, we got a leak over there. Okay, we're gonna need an Allen wrench to fix that. See it? That's impeller cone is leaking. All right, we'll fix that. I tightened up the bolts. It's still leaking. I'm not gonna get them any tighter. We're gonna have to take the cover off and put some sealant or some Vaseline or something on that O-ring, I guess. Dang it. All right, take 3 here. I took the lid off, took the O-ring out, cleaned it, put a little Vaseline on it. Hopefully that fills in any little small gaps and it stops it from leaking. I know, some people tell me I shouldn't put Vaseline on O-rings because it makes them swell up. That's kind of the point. I want it to swell up. Then it'll seal. Looks like we solved our leak over there, so that's good. All right, well, everything looks to be running pretty good. Even my auto steer is working good. I switched to running 40-foot passes this year instead of 37.5. Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing agronomically, but I also don't know that it's actually costing and hurting me any, and it's a whole lot easier and a little bit faster. So we're gonna run that way, and it lets me run an auto path, which seems to be working pretty well. So that's good. Well, you guys see over here how we have some rows in between the rows? Right there. You remember that first day we were coming out to set the planter up and make sure everything was working right, and I accidentally planted some seed? Yeah, that's it, right there, in between the rows. Somehow or another, the field cultivator didn't really scatter it. I thought it would for sure, but, well, there it is, so, oh well. No big deal. All right, what do we got done? 18 acres, about 2/3 of the way through this tank. So We're doing a calibration. We'll see what the weight is on the tank when they take it back versus what the rate controller thinks that it put on. So hopefully we're pretty close. So nitrogen is stupid expensive this year. I'm sure that you guys know that, or we've sort of talked about it a little bit. We did make a very, very good decision, though. I take zero credit for it because Dad did it, not me. We booked our anhydrous in February, right before everything spiked. So while it was too expensive for what it was at the time, it's way cheaper than the cash price today. Now, we didn't book 100% of it, but we did a lot. So hopefully we've got all of our, the vast majority of our nitrogen reasonably priced here. That said, because any extra and overage that we do use is still going to be really expensive. I don't know what anhydrous is right now. I'm guessing $1,200 to $1,300 a ton compared to, I think we paid $850. So we did really good there. But anything extra that we do use is going to be expensive. So I'm trying to, we're going to be a little conservative on our rates. We're cutting back just a little bit this year, shooting for about 9/10 of a pound of N per acre instead of a whole pound of N per bushel. Does that make sense? So if you're shooting for 200 bushel corn, maybe we're only putting 180 pounds of nitrogen on there versus 200 pounds of nitrogen. 1-to-1 ratio versus 0.9-to-1 ratio. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. And we did have some nitrogen in our starter, so we're not supplying all of it through the anhydrous here. But yeah, some areas are, I've got 3 zones. Some areas are just the crap along the edges. We're only putting 115, 120 pounds of N on there. The bulk of the field's getting 160, and then the really good spots will push 195. So that's what we're putting on. Well, our first tank is empty-ish. It didn't actually run empty, but it says it's empty, and it should be about empty. And the gauge doesn't work on it, so we're going to drop it here and get a weight on it, see what we're doing. All right, we're hooked up. We got some really nice tanks. I know the gauge wasn't working on that first one. They said they were going to fix it when they got it empty. So this is the third year. Yeah, third year with the current supplier that we're using. The location that we had been using prior to that forever got out of, well, they closed up entirely, but they quit doing anhydrous. And so we had to find somewhere else, and I didn't think it was going to go very well, but to their credit, they have done a phenomenal job. Got really nice tanks. I never wait on gas. Like, they do a really good job, which makes it hard to switch to 28. But that's okay. So Phil's taking that one back, and we'll see what we'll see if our flow meter and rate controller is agreement with what their scale says. We got 29.3 acres on that first tank, so should be pretty close. I can do some math from there. It's about time for a haircut. It's starting to get flyaways here on the side. Oh well. We're going to finish this field. There's 56 acres in this field, so this tank should finish it, and then we're going to jump across the lane to the one behind us. There's 22 acres there. We'll see how far we get, or what time it is when we're done with that. It's already after 4:30, so I don't need to be working until 10 o'clock at night every day just to get this anhydrous done. We've got time. Not that I don't want to get it done and keep moving, but we've got time. Well, boys, I think it's time for a nap. I don't have to do anything. Set up the auto turn. We're just going to sit here. Shuts the bar off, slows us down, picks it up, turning, still turning, set the bar down, set the bar down, there it goes, turn the gas on, speed her up, let's go. Let's freaking go. That is cool. I never did mess with it when we were planting because when I did it last year, it didn't do a great job and whatever. It's not that hard to turn, but anhydrous, I don't have as much stuff trailing in the bar being 3-point mounted rigid. where it's not turning off separate, it turns more smoothly, so it works. Well, I think we did about 20 acres before I had to touch the steering wheel. That was pretty good. We made it all the way to the one side. We got to go back and fill in some over there in the center. Just a little bit here to do yet. Phil texted me a weight on that first tank. We were off. We were off by a few hundred pounds, more than I've ever really seen it happen before. So, not sure why there, but the rate controller thought we had put on like 6,100 pounds, and it was really 5,500. So we were 600 pounds off. That's quite a bit. So we put in a calibration, or told it what the actual weights were. It adjusted, and we should be closer. Well, we can't really calibrate with this tank because I changed it in the middle of it, so we'll have to wait until we hook up to the next one and see about that. Dang, that's pretty cool. I didn't turn one time once we got lined back up over here. I'm just hanging out. Last pass to this field. We got this one done, so we'll jump across the lane and run our tank out. We got just under 1,000 pounds, it says, left in it, so that won't take too long. Planter guy drove pretty crooked on this first pass. Good grief. Wobble up there, look at that. Anyway, we've moved across the lane and we're on the second field. Our tank has a low volume. Yep. And this one was one of the corn-on-corn fields, so we got more residue out here. It really shouldn't affect anything at all. Bar seems to be doing a really good job, and it's got all new hardware, so it should. But very little gas escaping. Usually, you can see that white vapor. You know, I haven't seen hardly any all day, so that is good. I'm just gonna keep watching this. When our target rate and our actual rate don't match, or this number goes crazy, then we know our tank is empty, and if we get down close and we're down here by our full tank, they're gonna quit there. All right, well, we got this one done here, just about. So we're gonna empty this tank. It's about half. Yeah, we're about half, maybe a little more going on this tank. We're just gonna go in the backfield, and we're not gonna finish that tonight, but we're gonna empty the tank so that we got a fresh one to hook onto for tomorrow. So the plan for tomorrow, now that we have everything dialed in and know it's working and we're good, the plan for tomorrow is to go down to the first fields that we planted. They're like 10 miles from here. There's 220 acres there. If we can go down there and get all that done tomorrow on Friday, I would be thrilled. That would be an awesome day. So that's the plan. That's why I want to start with a fresh tank. We'll pull that down there with us. It's a long ways, so it's 10 miles from here. Our supplier is 8 miles that way, so it's almost a 20-mile haul with anhydrous tanks. So I think Phil and Xander are probably both going to haul tomorrow and hope that they can keep up. We'll need about 8 tanks down there, so yeah, we'll see how well they do. Phil's got 2 more full ones. He's got 1 full one, and he took in my second empty back, and he's bringing another full one back tonight. So we'll have some stuff to get started with tomorrow, and then hopefully they can keep up. So I mentioned earlier that we switched from the 37.5 feet to 40 feet. Basically, our bar is a 15-row bar, right? And we drive. There's 3 shanks between the tires or the tracks on the tractor, because the rows. The shanks or the openers on the anhydrous bar have to run between the corn rows. So we're straddling 4 corn rows, but there's only 3 in between. So they're offset a little bit from where planter rows would be, basically. So you have to have an odd number because you have one perfectly centered. And so this one is a 15 shank. And so what I've done in the past is always just run it straight rate all the way across. And then we're 37.5 feet wide. Well, that creates some issues when we're planting 60 feet, 37.5. They're not an even multiple. It doesn't work out real well. And so on our outside rows on each side, we have a second line. There's 2 hoses that goes to it. There's 2 liquid tubes. One of them runs a half rate. So what we do then is run a half rate on the outside rows, and we skip a row. Or a rate and a half. We're not just a half rate. We put a full rate on, then we put another half a rate, so that it puts the right amount of anhydrous on for a full 40 feet, even though we're only technically covering 37.5. And then that outside row essentially just has to get all its nitrogen from one side versus being on both sides of the row. That's not ideal agronomically, but that's pretty much standard how the anhydrous application, even 28 application, is done. It's not uncommon, it's very normal. And so that's how I'm going to do it this year, because one, it makes me 40 foot wide instead of 37.5, so we cover an extra 2.5 feet per pass. Two, it makes my auto path work, and it's working perfectly. Like, it's right on the rows, so every other pass then, one time I'm fully in one planter pass, the next time we're straddling our guest row, or the row between two planter passes, and then we're fully in the next planter pass. So it just works out easier this way. I don't know. That's how I'm going to do it this year. Well, our tank is empty. Cool. All right. Well, we did 14 acres in this field. That's not too bad. So we're going to go up to the farm, unhook it, hook onto a full one there, and fuel up, get ready to go for tomorrow. It's 7 o'clock. It's time to quit for the night. We need to go plant some more sunflowers. My wife's kind of been bugging me about getting it done. So I hooked the old 2-row back up. Shop vac's already down at my house, so we'll grab that and sunflower seed. And I don't think I'm quite ready to plant the second round of sweet corn yet, so let's see. Dad's been emptying chemical shuttles, rinsing stuff out, cleaning up. He got the semi-truck back from the fields we sprayed yesterday. We're done spraying for a little while until we get to V5 corn, so that's good. Filling up our seed meters. We just bought some bird seed, black oil sunflower seed. It's just sunflower seeds, but it's not exactly seed quality. That was way more than what we're gonna need, but that's okay. There's a bunch of sticks and stuff in it. Hopefully it doesn't clog up our meters too bad. There we go. We need our double eliminators a little more aggressive. That'll work. Let's plant. It's working. We're gonna end up with 6 rows of sunflowers here. We had planted 2 before. They're coming up pretty decent. Patching in 4 more. I know. Hey, well, that didn't take long. I think that's it. I'm gonna go home. So we're gonna have a big day side dressing tomorrow. Get a bunch done. It's still really early, so I'm not in a big hurry, but I do want to get that group of fields done and not be down there over the weekend. So if we can do that, I'll be pretty happy. We'll see how far else we might make it. Saturday, we'll keep at it. I do have a graduation party to go to on Saturday, so that'll slow us down a little bit, but it's okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow.